Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk to you about arcs and chords and circles. It's chapter 10, section 3 in the geometry book. A chord is basically a line that goes across a circle. It's got endpoints on the circle. It can go through the middle, it can go through the top, bottom, whatever. So if this over here, if a chord is not a diameter, then its endpoints divide the circle into a major and a minor arc. FJ would probably be your major arc, and like FG would be like a minor arc, for example. And then this is important. In the same circle or in congruent circles, two minor arcs are congruent if and only if their corresponding chords are congruent. So FG is congruent to HJ if and only if the line FG, the chord, FG is congruent to HJ. Alright? So using that, in the embroidery hoop, chord AB is congruent to CD. And measure of arc AB is 60. Find CD. It's 60 because those chords are congruent. So I'm just going to write 60. And move on to the next one. A circular piece of jade is hung from a chain by two wires wrapped around the stone. Let's see here. So you got JM is congruent to KL. It says KL is 90 degrees. Find JM. Guess what? It's also 90 degrees. Alright. Now, let's make this a little bit more difficult. Here we have congruent arcs, and we don't know what the chords are. But if the arcs are congruent, then the chords must be congruent. So 2x plus 1 equals 3x minus 7. Alright, so let's see here. I can add 7 to the other side. Cancel that. And if I do that, then I should minus 2x to this side. So I'm left with 8 equals 3 minus 2 is 1, so 8 equals x. And then it says find PQ. Okay, let's just plug in 8. 3 times 8 minus 7. 3 times 8 is 24. 24 minus 7 is 17. Final answer. Alright, similar one here. I have congruent chords. So I'm going to go 7x minus 2 equals 5x plus 6. Alright. So I can add 2 to the other side. I'm out of room. So if I add 2 to the other side, I'm left with 7x equals 5x plus 8. And then I can minus 5x to the other side. I'm left with 2x equals 8. So divide by 2, and you get 4. Now, is the question asking for x or something else? No, it says find wx. Okay, so wx is 7x minus 2. So I'm going to do 7 times 4 minus 2. That's 26. Alright. Moving right along. So, if a line segment or ray divides an arc into two congruent arcs, then it bisects the arc. Alright. So, if diameter AB is perpendicular to chord XY, then you got the segment XZ is congruent to ZY, and XB is congruent to BY. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. And then, perpendicular bisector of a chord is the diameter or radius of a circle. And so that would be line AB. So it says if AB is a perpendicular bisector of chord XY, then AB is the diameter of C. So if it makes a right angle with a chord, it's going to be a diameter. Alright. In circle S, arc PQR is 98. Find arc PQ. We're going to have to do this. This one, it says XB is congruent to BY. So each little arc is congruent. So all I got to do is cut that in half. If I want to know what PQ is, I just cut 98 in half. 98 divided by 2 is, what is that, like 49? Yeah, that's 49. All right. Sorry, I don't sound good. I'm feeling really under the weather right now. In circle G, measure DEF is 150, find DE. Same idea, cut it in half. Half of 150 is 75. All right. In the stained glass window, diameter GH is 30 inches long, and chord KM is 22 inches long. Find JL. All right, so let's see here. So JL is not quite the radius. The radius would be JH. So that's 15. Because I just cut 30 in half. Then we have KM is 22. So let's see here. I got 11 here. Okay. Ooh, you see what I'm doing? I got 11 on these sides, and I know JH is 15. Okay, that's great. If J is the center of the circle, and I draw a line from the center of the circle to the edge of the circle, that is the radius. So I'm going to put these as 15, because again, I just cut GH in half. GH is 30. So now I've made some right triangles, haven't I? So this is 11, that's 11. If I figure out this side right here, that's what the question's asking. All right, so I just need to do the Pythagorean Theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. It's important to know that 15 is the c because it is opposite of the right angle. So if a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then it's something like this. 11 squared plus b squared equals 15 squared, which means I'm going to have to subtract 11 squared to the other side. So b squared equals 15 squared minus 11 squared. So if you ever want to save time, you know you're going to have to square root it. You just need to type in the square root of 15 squared minus 11 squared. And you don't get an exact answer, and I'm not going to really concern myself with simplifying the radical in this case, but you get about 10.198, and that's the final answer. All right, so probably going to have a similar example here. In the ceramic stepping stone below, diameter AB is 18. Chord EF is 8. Find CD. Yeah, it's the same exact kind of question. So AB is 18, which means the radius is 9. So from C to the edge, that's 9. From here to here, I'm going to cut half of that chord. So half of the chord is 4. So if I'm repeating the same process, I'm looking for that middle term. So b squared is going to equal 9 squared minus 4 squared. The square root of 9 squared minus 4 squared. So when I type that in, oh yeah, square root both sides. I type that in, I get my answer as about 8.06. And that is the answer for CD. Okay, so last thing to cover in this section, you can use the following theorem to determine whether two chords are in a circle are congruent. So in the same circle or in congruent circles, two chords are congruent if and only if they are equidistant from the center, meaning they're the same distance from the center. So chord F, G, and JH are congruent if and only if LX is congruent to LY, because they're the same distance away from the center. So WX equals XY, so we have two chords that are equal to each other, and they're both equal to 22. Find AB. Okay, to figure out AB, do I use 22? No. All I need to know is, since the chords are equal to each other, they're the same distance away from each other, which means I just go 5x equals 3x plus 4. So to figure out AB, I'm going to solve for x and then just plug it back in. So I get 2x equals 4. So I get x equals 2. I just need to plug that in to figure out what AB is. What's 5 times 2? That's 10. 10 is AB. Yay, we did it. Alright, now is this one going to be the same process? Let's hear EF equals GH, so those are both chords, and they're both 24. Find PQ. Yeah, PQ is going to be the same distance as PR, so just set them equal to each other. 4x minus 3 equals 2x plus 3. And let's see here, this is smaller, so I can minus that to the other side. And then minus 3, I can plus 3 to the other side. And so 4x minus 2x gives me 2x. And 3 plus 3 gives me 6. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay. And now I just need to plug it in to figure out what PQ is. So PQ is 4x minus 3, so I'm going to do 4 times 3 minus 3. So 4 times 3 is 12, 12 minus 3 is 9, so 9 is PQ. And that's it for the notes on this section. Thanks for watching.